He says, how many times is there an action that outwardly, like externally, looks as if this act is an act of something of dunya? Like it doesn't seem like it's an act of akhirah. Outwardly looks like something of dunya. Like whether it's like even studying in college. Okay, this doesn't seem like he's becoming an alim or she's becoming an alima or she's studying knowledge. It could be anything, right? It could even be fixing cars. Like it seems as if outwardly, externally, it seems like as if this is an act of dunya, act of something of this world. But because of this person's good intention, it becomes an action of akhirah. Okay? And how many times, he says, how many times it happens where the act externally seems as if so that it is an act of akhirah, but the intention is flawed, so it becomes an act of this dunya. You know, and this is something that we need to reflect on, right? So we are not lacking, or we don't have, there's not a shortage really of scholars or institutions or people that are doing good and, you know, trying to do things for the sake of deen. But I will definitely say this, that there is a shortage. There is a shortage of institutions, of people within those institutions who are very, very clear on why they're doing what they're doing. The niyyah is 100% crystal clear. It has to be crystal clear, right? That's why, that famous hadith of innamal a'malu bin-niyyat, that these actions are not just judged, but the result of those actions are going to be based on your intention of doing it. Just because it seems as if it is an act of akhirah doesn't necessarily make it an act of akhirah. I'm just going to be honest with you. So, for example, you could be running a, like, may Allah, and I don't mind calling each other out, myself especially. You could be looking as if you're a religious person, but it could be for a different purpose. And if you read the history of, the Indo-Pak, or even in the Arab world, or even if you read the Malaysian, Singapore, like the crisis and the Muslim, you read the history behind these things, and you would find people, right? It was a lot of damage. And people who are like, some of us who are like adults in the class, like, over the age of 40, 50, or, have read history of these countries, will know what I'm saying. Spain, Cordoba, right, did not fall because there was a lack of knowledge. Did not fall because there was a lack of institutions that were providing knowledge. It was not because of that, but these places, it's even in Indo-Pak, the fact that, like, the country India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the subcontinent, Malaysia, Singapore, where the British were, some Arab countries, you have this system that has been created among the general public because of certain individuals who they had interaction with or they read about, who seemed as if they were scholars and people of knowledge, but their intention was manifested. You can't hide it for too long. You can't hide it for too long, and people will catch on. And now, even though you may feel like that it seems like this person is doing something of akhirah, but the intention is respect, the intention is money, the intention is honor, the intention is other things, you basically are wasting your time now. Because at that point, on the day of judgment, there will be a few people who will have the greatest regret. Like, one of the names of the day of judgment is Yamun Nadama, the day of regret. And on that day, the one who will have the greatest amount of regret will be that scholar or that student of knowledge or that speaker